Hello and welcome to Slow Talk Real Life. My name is Mike.
And my name is Abby. We are so happy you are here with us today.
Today, we have a very nice topic to talk about. It is something many of us do every single day.
That's right, Mike. Today, we are talking about the joy of cooking at home.
Cooking at home. I really like this topic. I enjoy cooking in my kitchen.
Me too. It can be very relaxing. So today, let's talk about why cooking at home is such a good thing.
That sounds great. So, Abby, let's start with a simple question for our listeners. What is cooking at home?
That is a perfect place to start. Cooking at home means you prepare your own food in your own kitchen.
Right, so you're not buying food from a restaurant.
Exactly. And you are not buying food that is already cooked from a store. You are buying the ingredients and making the meal yourself.
Ingredients. That is a useful word. Can you explain what ingredients are, Abby?
Of course, ingredients are all the different foods you use to make a meal.
Okay,
For example, if you want to make a simple pasta dish, your ingredients might be pasta, tomatoes, garlic, and oil. Those are the parts of the meal.
that makes sense. So you buy the ingredients and you cook them at home.
That's it exactly. Now, let's talk about our first big reason why this is so good. Cooking at home is often much healthier.
Healthier. That's interesting. Why is it healthier than eating at a restaurant?
The reason is control. When you cook at home, you have complete control over your food. You decide what goes into your meal.
I have control.
Yes. For example, you can control the amount of salt you use or the amount of sugar. Many restaurants add a lot of salt and sugar to make the food taste stronger.
That's true. Sometimes after I eat at a restaurant, I feel very thirsty. It's probably from too much salt.
It could be. And what about oil or butter? At home, you can choose to use just a little bit of oil. You can also choose to add more healthy things, like more vegetables.
So you know exactly what is in your food. There are no surprises.
You know exactly what is in your meal. This is very important for staying healthy. You are in charge of your own food.
That's a great point about control. And it's not just about salt and sugar, right?
Absolutely. Instead of frying food in a lot of oil, you can choose to bake, steam, or grill it. These methods use much less fat and can make a big difference for your health over time. It's about making smarter choices, not just cutting things out. Well, another wonderful benefit is that cooking at home can save you a lot of money.
It's cheaper than eating out?
Yes, often it is much cheaper. Let's think about why. When you go to a restaurant, you pay for the food, of course, but you also pay for other things.
What other things?
You pay for the work of the chef who cooks the food. You pay for the waiter who brings the food to your table. You pay for the restaurant building. All of these costs are part of the price of your meal.
Okay, the service and the place.
Right, but when you buy ingredients from the supermarket, you are only paying for the food itself. This can make a big difference.
That's a very good point. A single meal at a simple restaurant near my house might cost $15. But for $15 at the grocery store, I can buy enough ingredients to cook for 2 or 3 days.
That is a perfect example, Mike. So if you cook at home most days of the week, you can save a lot of money each month.
So cooking at home is healthier and it saves money. This is great. Is there another reason we should cook at home?
Yes, there is one more point that I love to talk about. For me, cooking at home is a very relaxing and creative activity.
Creative? What do you mean by creative?
Creative means you're making something new. You're using your imagination and your ideas.
Okay, making something new.
Yes, with cooking, you can find a recipe online or in a book. A recipe is a list of instructions to make a food. You can follow the recipe carefully.
Right. I often use recipes from the internet.
But you can also experiment. To experiment means you try new things to see what happens. Maybe you add a different spice or use a vegetable you have never tried before. You can create your own special dishes.
I see. So it lets you use your imagination. And you also said it is relaxing. I completely agree with that.
Tell me more about that. Why is it relaxing for you?
For me, after a long day at work, it is nice to come home and do something with my hands. I often play some quiet music. The action of chopping vegetables or stirring something in a pot, it's very calm. It helps my mind to slow down.
I feel the same way. It's a mindful activity. It helps you focus on the present moment. You pay attention to the smells from the oven, the sounds of the kitchen. It can be a beautiful part of the day.
There's another aspect we haven't touched on yet. Cooking can also be a wonderful way to connect with other people.
Oh, that's such a wonderful point, Mike. Connecting with people through food is one of the oldest traditions we have.
Exactly. I have some of my best memories from cooking with my family. When I was a child, I used to help my grandmother in the kitchen. We would make her special apple pie. It wasn't just about the food, it was about the time we spent together.
That sounds like a beautiful memory, Mike, and it's so true. Sharing the process of cooking can be just as important as sharing the meal itself. It builds teamwork and communication. I think about parents teaching their children to cook, passing down family recipes. That's a special kind of connection.
It really is. And it's not just for family. Inviting friends over for a home-cooked meal instead of going to a restaurant feels more personal, more special. It shows you care enough to put in the time and effort. It creates a warm, comfortable atmosphere that's hard to find in a busy restaurant. So, we talked about 3 very good things today.
We did. Why don't we do a quick summary? A summary is a short look back at the main ideas we talked about.
Good idea. Okay, first, we said that cooking at home is healthier.
Yes, because you control the ingredients like salt and sugar.
Second, it saves money. It is usually much cheaper than eating at restaurants.
Right, you can make many meals for a small price.
And third, it is a relaxing and creative activity.
Exactly, a wonderful way to feel calm and make something new and delicious.
This was a great conversation, Abby. It makes me want to go home and cook dinner.
I enjoyed it too, Mike. Cooking is a simple thing, but it has so many benefits.
To all of our listeners, thank you for joining us today on Slow Talk Real Life.
We have a question for you before we go. Do you like to cook at home? And what is your favorite thing to make?
We hope you have a wonderful and delicious week.
Goodbye, everyone.